Okay, so today we're going to go through a meditation sequence, right? And essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through each of the four basic breaths, right? Which is beta, alpha, theta, delta. These four are coded by singular breaths. So your beta is your in through your mouth, out through your mouth. Your alpha is in through your mouth, out through your nose. Your theta is in through your nose, out through your nose, and your delta is in through your nose, out through your mouth. And what we're going to essentially be doing is we're going to be doing wave breath sequences and also converting them. Now, the wave breath, we're going to do 2 cycles of each one, right? So, for instance, the beta wave breath, we're going to do 9 breaths, which is 2 cycles of mouth-mouth, right? Only mouth-mouth. And then what we're going to do is we're going to follow that up with a down breath, which is one of the 4 omega breaths, right? Which incorporates both the G breath and the Z breath, okay? And then after we do the beta and then convert it to down, then we're going to go into alpha and do the same thing with alpha, then convert it to down. Then we're going to go into theta, convert that to down. Then we're going to go into delta, convert that to down, and then we're going to do a second set of the beta breath to convert that to down to complete the circuit. Now, I was going to go through the did I say that I was going to do the wave breath? Sorry. If I said I was going to do the wave, just scrap that. I was previously going to help guide us through, or I guess we could. Yeah, because I had said previously that that's what I was going to do, but I realized that I had not prefaced the sequence by telling y'all that of the codes. So if you're new to this or you're not that well experienced, as I give the breath to do, it's either going to be mouth-mouth. So when I say mouth-mouth, that means breathe in through your mouth and then breathe out through your mouth. When I say mouth-nose, that's breathe in through your mouth, out through your nose. Now when I say nose-nose, that's in your nose, out your nose. And when I say nose-mouth, that's in your nose, out your mouth. And that's just going to be for this particular sequence that we're going to be doing. Okay, so because in the previous video I said I was going to guide each inhalation and exhalation, but then I remembered I said I was going to do the wave breath. So it's better to practice the wave breath with being able to help guide people through the codes, right? So only saying mouth, mouth, or mouth, nose, etc., right? But if you're not familiar with these kinds of, well, I guess since this is like the first official video considering of teaching the cycles, I think what we're gonna do is we're not gonna worry about speed. We're not gonna do the wave breath. We're essentially just going to do 2 cycles of each one without paying attention to speed. I think that's the best thing that we can do for right now. But I had decided maybe I should do the G breath to convert them to the G breath. But then I was like, no, it'd probably be better to use the GZ breath, aka the down omega breath, to convert them because it incorporates both the gamma and the zeta. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Afterwards, after we go through the meditation sequence, I'm going to talk a little bit about each of the 4 basic, because during the meditation you may notice that maybe one of the particular types of breath, or maybe 2 of them or something, there's like a stagnation and you can't breathe that particular breath that well. Like say you can't breathe in through your nose all the way, or maybe you can't breathe out through your mouth all the way. Whatever it may be, I'm going to describe each of the 4 basic breaths at the end of this video, or towards the end of this video, so that you can kind of get an understanding of what may be getting stagnant in your energy field, right? Today is Kin 202, and that is white resonant wind, so I can't think of a better thing to make a video on. Yeah, we're not gonna focus on the wave breath, aka the speeds and rhythm, just simply because I want to be able to guide it through each inhalation and exhalation. Later on in other videos, we'll do the wave breath. Therefore, I'll be able to just say the codes like mouth, 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 nose, or whatever without having to, you know, say each inhalation and exhalation. But just remember that when you're breathing, try to breathe in as deeply as you can. Make sure to hold it in for a moment. And then when you breathe out, try to breathe out as much as you can. And then after you breathe out, hold it out. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and give just one command for the entire sequence. You know, this sequence is probably going to take, I don't know, somewhere between 20 to 40 minutes, but it'll be really good, and afterwards you'll feel really supercharged and grounded and relaxed, but also energized at the same time. I'm just going to give one command for the entire sequence, not a command for each of the breaths. And just remember, when you say the command, you can either say it in your mind or you can say it out loud. Just remember to say it as a standalone statement, and remember to take full deep breaths. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into it after I say the command. And the command is as thus: Lord Jesus Christ resonance, establish me. Now first begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Inhaling through your mouth. And exhaling through your mouth. Okay, so that was 9 breaths of just mouth, which is the beta brainwave. And now what we're going to, basically what we just did was we generated up all of that beta charge in the body, right? And therefore it is activating our conscious awareness on all the parts in our body and our brain that's resonating at that beta frequency. And everything that is involved with it, where it may be getting stuck, where it may be overactive. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stabilize it and establish it and ground it into our body by first producing a high energy charge and bringing consciousness into it, so that we get a revelation of that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it back down and then anchor that into our body and simplify it. So now we're going to do the GZ breath, aka the down omega breath. So first begin by breathing all the air out of your mouth, out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Half breath in. Okay, so now we're going to do what we just did was we did 2 cycles of a beta breath cycle, right? So 9 breaths of just beta. And then what we did was we converted it to the GZ energy, which is the down omega, all right? So what we just did was we took up all the beta charges, which have to do with our external world, and has to do with our chemistry, has to do with our physical body, as well as all the various things that we're processing through our body, right? As well as we've influenced the processing speed in and of itself, right? So if you had stagnation with your mouth breath, this helped to energize it and then stabilize it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, so both of those breaths, the beta cycle that we did and the down that followed it, was one set. Now we're going to have to do the same thing for alpha, and then theta, then delta, and then beta again. Okay? So now we're going to go through the alpha. We're going to do 9 breaths of the alpha brainwave breath. So first begin by breathing the air out of your lungs, out of your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Okay. Now I wanna preface this. I got lightheaded in that last cycle, so I may have guided you to do 10 alpha breaths. Okay, I might have done that, might have gotten 9. Not sure. I lost count around the 4th or 5th one. But the thing to note about the 4 basic breaths is that you don't need to do precise geometric cycles for them. It does help, right, to have structure to it, to be able to make sure that you stay in alignment with, the geometry. But the good thing about the singular breaths, right, so beta, alpha, theta, delta, is that you don't have to do it exactly in structure. You can do it 10 times, you could even do it 11, or maybe you could be one short at 8. It doesn't matter, because the goal of doing these breaths is to generate the energy. Now, I just also want to say that I'm not breathing as deeply as I possibly can, just because I'm not used to guiding through the meditations. I'm used to just doing them, but I figure that I need to share this knowledge with the world for anybody who may not know about it. Again, I learned all this from Core Love, aka Corey Herder. But again, I just want to humble myself and say that I got lightheaded and sort of drifted out of, or I actually went deeper in, and I kind of went a little unconscious, and my finger counts I may have messed up. But again, it doesn't matter if you're off by 1. It's easier to keep structure with the gamma, the zeta, and the omega, because they in and of themselves are structured. Doesn't mean that you won't get lightheaded or, kind of drift in and out of, your deeper consciousness or not, but it's easier to stay in alignment because each of the different breaths along the way through them is different. But yeah, I just wanted to state that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to convert it with the GZ, aka the down omega breath. So first begin by, breathe as deeply as you can. Don't mind me about, if I'm not breathing as deeply as I can. If I feel like I mess up on a specific breath, we'll just start back at the beginning. It's okay, all is forgiven. So first, begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Half breath in. Another interesting thing to note, though, is one thing to note is that through these meditations, right, this is the geometry of breath, right? So most of the types of breathing techniques that most people learn either through YouTube videos or online or maybe through gurus and teachers and stuff like that, unfortunately, most of these teachers don't teach the geometric breaths, which is what these are, sacred G breaths, right? But if you ever feel like you kind of space out or you go into deep consciousness and you lose your place, right? And whatever breath that you were doing, right, during that moment, it's okay to do it again in a row, right? So if you're doing like a mouth-nose, for instance, and then you kind of space out and, you know, you can't remember if you did nose-nose or mouth-nose or not, just redo that same breath again right afterwards and then continue on with the circuit. That's one way where it's okay to, you know, alter the geometry, because essentially what you're doing is just you're, you know, bringing up that charge again, right? Or you're just repeating the particular breath that you just did, right? As long as you continue the circuit in the direction and the next breath that comes afterwards, and then you conclude the breath properly, it's okay to, you know, say if you're doing the G breath, which is beta, alpha, theta, delta, second beta, right? And you kind of space out on the nose-nose, but you can't remember if you did mouth-nose or nose-nose, right? Well, just, you can either go alpha, theta again, right? Or you can do, if you feel like you're pretty certain it was theta that you spaced out on, just do another theta, do another nose-nose, right? But just remember to continue on in the circuit, the order and the structure of the circuit. So after doing that, then go delta and then beta again, right? It's okay, right? There is fluidity to these breaths, and it's this, even the purpose of the structure and the geometry, right, is to help reorganize and put order into our energy fields, right? But don't be so strict about it. Now, I gotta say, do be careful with experimentation regarding these things, right? Don't just be like, you know, mouth, mouth, nose, nose, mouth, nose, nose, mouth, nose, 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 you know, and don't just do these breaths randomly. You know what I'm saying? There is a structure to these, and take it from me, I used to experiment in that way with these things, and it's not always, the result is not always good. Sometimes you can entangle up your energy and you can experience either psychological or physical symptoms. So just be aware of that, okay? The structure is there to help us to reorganize, reorder, and give us intelligence of the energy within us, right? So, you know, don't take it for granted, don't abuse it, just be fluid with it. Be fluid at home, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 cycles of just theta, so just nose, nose, right? So first begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs out of your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. I apologize for the wind if it is loud in the microphone, but hopefully you could hear me clearly or already know where we are in the breath placement. I kind of spaced out a little bit on the count just simply because I've not really been a teacher of these things. This is like really sort of still the beginning of me teaching and guiding people through these breaths via the commands and stuff, you know, like breathing in, breathing out, whatever. So I've been figuring out where I'm at and, you know, how many breaths I've done via counting on my fingers, whereas before I was using my thumb to begin with, right? And that made it to where my pinky was like this, right? And because it takes, you know, a little bit of energy and concentration to hold it down like that, I was like, it'd probably be better to count my thumb last, right? So then I switched them over, right? And that's whenever I kind of paused and the guided part, you know, and because I was moving my hands like this. But anyways, the things you learn along the way, you know what I mean? Just to show you that, you know, I'm right alongside you, you know, just because you may not know these breaths and I do doesn't make me, you know, more, you know, better, or whatever, you know what I mean? My ultimate goal is to get to a point where other people are teaching me these things. So, but as a lesson for you all, just remember that your learning is at your own pace. You all have your own strengths and weaknesses. We're all different parts of the body of Christ. So if you ever need to deviate from your teacher and go a different direction, there's no shame in that. You know what I mean? This is the very nature of these things. But okay, now we're going to follow up with the GZ breath, or the down omega. So first begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Half breath in. Another thing that I didn't explain was when I say half breath in, the half breaths are, what I mean by these down omega specific ones, I'm saying half breath in, I mean in through your mouth. But it doesn't matter. Whatever half breath comes normal to you. Just remember that half breath in through your mouth, right, which is just a light breath, right? It's just a light breath in, right? That is part of the geometric structure of the down omega. Now, the GZ breath doesn't really include the half breath in through your mouth. But the down omega, right, does. Because that in breath through your mouth actually is the breath that will link it to the off breath which follows it, right? You know, whenever you're going in the natural circuit, right? Which is the very first breath of the omega cycle, or the off omega, sorry. That half breath in is not only the last breath of the down, but it's also the first of the off, right? But again, we're not going to get into that. One of these days, I will make a video of us going through the natural circuit of all 4 omegas, and of course doing the first one again to make it 5, therefore a perfect geometric breath cycle. And that's the interesting thing about the numbers 5, 9, and 13 is these are breath numbers, okay? These are numbers that pertain to the breath. right? 5 breaths is 1 cycle, 9 is 2, 13 is 3, 17 is 4, and 21 is 5, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, just wanted to say that. Now, but again, when I say half breath in, do whatever breath comes natural. If it's in through your nose, that's fine, you know. But just remember that half breath in through your mouth at the end of the down is the linking breath that connects it to the off omega. Okay, so now we're going to go into delta and do 9 delta breaths. Okay, so first begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your mouth. As you can see, it is now sunset, but eventually by the end of this video, you're probably not going to be able to see me. I might go turn the light on, I'm not sure, but, and I know I look pretty creepy, but maybe I should angle the camera toward the sky. Yeah, we will angle the camera towards the sky, so that way you can see the sky, because it's white resonant wind, you know what I mean? It's really nice to have a meditation of the sky. But anyways, I may have been 1 breath short on that one, so yeah. But either way, again, like I said before, so now we're going to convert it with the omega down, aka the GZ breath. So first begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Half breath in. So, we most likely did that one correctly. But I feel like there's like a 1% chance I might have messed up. But I'm pretty certain we did it correctly. But either way, what we're going to do is we're going to do the down omega breath again. Again, be fluid at home. You don't have to do this one again if you don't want to. I just feel like I should do it again. So, breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. And breathing out through your mouth. Half breath in. Okay. I swear, I feel like God is humbling me even more so. As I was doing that breath, I saw something like run across the stone stones in the backyard, like where I'm at. Like I saw like something run across the ground, and I couldn't tell if it was a lizard or it may have been a mouse. I don't know what it was, but it was very noticeable in size and stuff, so it was weird. But again, I'm pretty certain we did it right again, but I did get distracted. So I'm just gonna continue on with the cycle, just because I'm pretty certain we did both of them at both times. You know, the omega that we just the omega breaths that we just did. I'm pretty certain we did both of them correctly, and that I'm just tripping, and that I don't trust my intuition and this and that and whatever. But we're just gonna continue on with the cycle. If you know by this point the structure of the down breath, you know, you can pause now and do it correctly if I've messed up, but I'm pretty certain I did it right. And we're just gonna move forward. If I afterwards, when I rewatch this video and everything I did was correct, you know, the counts and everything, the breaths, then I'm gonna keep it up. If I feel like I want to take the video down, I'll just take the video down. But you know, that remains to be seen. You know, because I'm doing this in real time, so you know, forgive me if I'm, you know, making mistakes or whatever and this and that. But we're just gonna keep being fluid about this. So now we're going to finish the cycle with 9 more beta brainwave breaths, right? Or 2 cycles of beta, right? So 9 breaths. And then we're gonna do 1 last omega down, aka GZ breath, and we're gonna finish the entire sequence, right? So let's just go ahead and finish it. So first, begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing into your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Okay, again, pretty certain we did 9. I'm pretty sure we did, you know, the exact geometric count, but I let loose one of my fingers in my counting a little bit too early on one of them, so anyways. Yeah, just goes to show, you know, the details of the very beginning of my teaching this, you know, but it all got to start somewhere, right? And we always look like a dumbass in the beginning, as said by Corey Herter. Don't mean to name drop, I just mean to, you know, tell you the source of my quotes, you know, so that you know that I'm not just like pawning off ideas as if they're my own. By the way, there is a helicopter flying in the sky. Yeah, I don't know if you can see some weird stuff in the sky, but... Okay, so now we're gonna just go ahead and finish the entire sequence with one more down breath. So let's just go ahead and just conclude it. So first off, begin by breathing all the air out of your lungs, out of your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Breathing out through your nose. Breathing in through your mouth. Exhaling out your mouth. Half breath in. Oh yeah, you can't even see me anymore, so yeah, it's better to look at the sky. Yeah, there we go. Now you can see a little bit of the roof. Yeah, but that's the chimney. But yeah. So hopefully, I did all these breaths correctly. Again, you know, when you're doing these cycles, it's best to focus on the set structure. For instance, well, the order in which we did the 4 basic breaths, so we did first beta, then alpha, then theta, then delta, and then beta again. That's essentially a what I call the, you know, well, actually I don't have a name for it, but we went in the order of the G breath, right? So the G breath is beta, alpha, theta, delta, beta, right? And that's the order that we went in. Now, if we had started with beta and then went through the delta and then theta and then alpha and then beta, it would have had a more zeta energy, right? So it would have been more grounding. But because we went through the circuit in the order of the G breath, right? It helped to energize us more, as well as bring in new information. Now, since we started with beta and then came around and then ended on beta, doing a second beta, right? It helped to bring us back into our present moment, right? It helped to bring us out into the external world, you know? If we had started on theta, for instance, and then went through the G cycle, so then delta, then beta, then alpha, and then theta again, we would have been more aware of our internal world, right? We would have been more aligned with our inner thoughts. But I just went with the basic G spin or the G turn, as well as starting and ending on beta. Right, so don't worry, I'll eventually figure out terminology for all of this, but the main thing to focus on is the breath. It's the breaths themselves. It's really good to focus on an intention for why you're meditating, right? And the more fluent you get with the geometry of it, the more you can sort of fine-tune a specific set breath sequence that you're looking for that'll help you to carry out that intention. Now again, I'm sort of like an offshoot teacher of Core Love, which if you want to go straight to the source of the person I learned, feel free. You can go and find him through the website www.immortal.ai. And you can also gain access to his most current project, which is, more powerful than what I'm doing. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm doing a totally different project. I'm doing a totally different service here. I'm approaching it completely differently, from a different background, etc. And again, he was my access through which I learned this stuff. So, you can cut out the middleman if you want and just forsake me and go find him. But my main goal is to do it through the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, as well as his grace and mercy and love and peace. Everything I do in the name of the Lord Jesus, and I'm not ashamed of admitting that. Now again, your perspective on Jesus Christ may be different, but I guess I'll save that for another video that I'll make regarding who Jesus Christ is and what he is. But right now, this concludes the sequence. If you want to know more about the individual brain waves of beta, alpha, theta, delta, you can go and do some research on them. But essentially, this is the gist, right? So beta is the fastest of the four. Alpha is then after that in terms of speed and vibratory resonance. Then theta, and then delta, right? So beta has to do with high activity. It has to do with movement. It has to do with the physical world, whereas alpha is sort of more of a calm alertness, right? This is whenever we're just, sitting down and doing something, studying, doing art, whatever it is. You're calm, but you're alert. You're still awake, right? But in a relaxed sort of awakeness, right? This is sort of being in the external world, but also at the same time going more within. This is where the energy alpha is the energy of going within. And then theta is sort of in a meditative experience, right? Where you're inside your body, right? You're inside your mind, you're in your inner world, but still conscious, right? And then delta is the dream state, where now you are unconscious, but your mind is still activated in those lower frequencies where you can dream. But in order to dream, you first have to fall into deep sleep, right? So just be aware of that. Think of beta and theta as the solstice breaths, right? So beta and theta are your extremes, like your summer and your winter, your day and your night. This is why we always primarily try to begin on beta or theta, right? When we do our G breaths, etc., because that is the where the primary sources of the energy are, and that's where you want to end up. Theta has to do with your inner world and your inner energy, whereas beta has to do with the collective or the external energy, right? The external world. Now, alpha and beta are equatorial or equinox energy, right? So these are the stabilizers, right? These are the bridges to go from one solstice to the next. So your alpha and your delta are like your spring and your autumn, right? They are the mutable aspects, right? Because they are both alpha is mouth, nose, and delta is nose, mouth. So they actually have a bit of quality of both beta and theta right? But they act as bridges to help you go from one to the next in a natural state, right? In a natural way, rather than going back and forth like a 180-degree line through the, these extremes, right? So just remember that there's more that can be spoken on regarding these breaths, but just remember that the entire purpose of all your holy scriptures, all your ancient monuments and sacred sites across the world, all the mythology, all the geometry, all the math, all of the beauty of nature is to teach us these things, right? So that's the whole purpose of it. But I'll go ahead and go, seeing as how this video is at an hour now and I don't want it to be any longer. So you have a nice day. Hopefully I did every breath correctly, and I'll be back for different meditation sequences so that people can learn more. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing this, and I'll see you next time. I might actually make another video later tonight, but I'm not sure yet. I might make one tomorrow. I don't know. But anyways, have a nice night. Later.